What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to talk to you about Warhammer 40k. Today we are diving into yet another GrimDark battle. It is a who would win fight between the forces of Tau against the forces of Chaos. More specifically, a battle to the death between Shadowsun, the commander of the entire military force of the Tau, against a Lord Discordant, the leader of demon engines. So, recently I've been putting out polls to see who you guys think would come out on top between the two. And if you don't know how Grimdark Battles works, it's based on lore, based on the tabletop, and it's based on your guys' poll results. So what I do is I take all that information, look at their weapons, their war gear, their notable battles, their feats and whatnot, and then I make a what if scenario between the two in a battle. And that's what I did. So let's dive into their weapons, war gear, and feats before we dive into the battle. So let's begin with Commander Shadowsun. Commander Shadowsun really was a very strong and promising pupil that was taught under none other than Commander Puretide, one of the most tactically superior warriors of the Tau. He was the one that taught Shadowsun as well as Commander Farsight, and together this sparked a rivalry. Now the rivalry between these two Tau really sparked and boosted their feats on the battlefield and between each other. Shadowsun was an expert at the Kanyan type of fighting, which was using concealment and then striking when the time is right. With this tactic, one can easily draw out the enemy and allow the rest of the forces to just assault them. And that's exactly what she did against greenskins, humans of the Imperium, and all other enemies of the greater good. Now, the Tau Empire and the Ethereals in general saw how much of a great inspiring leader she was, so she was chosen to be put into stasis and only awakened when the time was right, because she was that important to the military of the Tau and overall the progression and advancement of the Tau Empire. She led many campaigns against the enemies, like I said previously, such as the battle on Mugulath Bay, where she took on the Raven Guard as well as the White Scars, even managing to defeat the chapter master of the Raven Guard, which is no small feat at all. Now, if you thought this was pretty awesome, she actually managed to fend off an assassin from the Officio Assassinorum pretty much by herself. She was one of the only survivors against the Calidus assassin, which was really messing with her mind, but using her superior weaponry, she barely managed to come out on top. Still though, not many people can say they've survived against an assassin, or managed to kill one for that matter. So that already just shows you her fervor, her tactics, and the way she's able to quickly assess the situation, think of the best scenario, and act on it. Currently, she is leading the Tau on the 4th Sphere expansion, which she has seen a lot of battle. She was fighting the Death Guard, and currently she is taking worlds from the Imperium, fighting against the Astra Militarum, as well as some Sisters of Battle companies. But that's not the best that she has to offer. Where she really shines is in her suit and her weaponry. So let's take a look at that. So during the Psychic Awakening, the Tau got a huge boost, and Shadowsun got a whole new revamp. She got a new model, new weapons, and a slew of special abilities. So let's just go down the line. Her armor is an experimental battlesuit that gives her the best that the Tau has to offer when it comes to cloaking technology. Not just that, but she can also utilize the 2 drones at her side, which one is a shield drone, and another one also helps her blend in and camouflage just a little bit better. Now, upon her XV-22 Stalker battlesuit, she has a slew of armaments, her best probably being the High Energy Fusion Blaster, which is essentially the Tau version of an Imperial Melta. It packs quite a punch at strength 8, minus 4 AP, and dealing d6 damage. However, if she doesn't need to shoot at such a powerful level, she does have a dispersed fusion blaster, which is an assault 2, strength 7, AP -4, D3 damage weapon. More shots at a slightly less strength, but still both are brutal against anything she encounters. Now when she does need to hit things at range, she has been equipped with a light missile pod, which she didn't have in previous editions. This is a huge boost to make her a better warrior all around, up and close and as well at range. So nothing too crazy here. Assault 2, strength 7 at -1 AP, dealing D3 damage. If things do get very hairy up close, she does have access to a pulse pistol or flechette launchers, which are essentially only seen on vehicles previously. Now she can fire these essentially flares to distract the enemy and also deal a little bit of damage. And that's pretty much the basics when it comes to the Supreme Commander of the Tau Forces, Commander Shadowsun. Now that you have all that information, let's go take a look at her opponent, the Lord Discordant. One of the main differences between Shadowsun and the Lord Discordant is that the Lord Discordant isn't a named character. It is more of a title given to a Chaos Space Marine who has arcane control over machines and, more specifically, demon engines. As we all know, the Tau do excel in their technology. However, the Lord Discordant is able to short-circuit machinery, shut down augers, cause servos and actuators to fail, and overall corrupt the machine spirit. Because of this, he is essentially the anti-Tau character to be fighting. So already, Shadowsun is going to be at a disadvantage because of the supreme technology, I guess you can say, sorcery, and knowledge that Lord Discordants carry. Because at their core, they're essentially warpsmiths, and they innately know the ins and outs of a lot of machinery, vehicles, and demons. Now, the Lord Discordant doesn't really fight on his own. He has a mount known as a Hellstalker Demon Engine, which is basically a parasitic demon bound to a mechanical frame that is pretty nefarious. It has its own code that it can inject into other machineries to basically render them useless as it drives its bladed limbs and tail to rip them asunder. Now, just like there are many chaos followers to different gods, there are many different Lord Discordants that pledge themselves to Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh as well. Those that have decided to follow Khorne are burning with rage, and generally their lubricating oils become blood, while Tzeentchian lords like to twist themselves through unseen dimensions until they finally find some unfortunate souls to play around with. Nurgle lords are the toughest ones. They are able to vent internal gases that pollute the air around them, making it really difficult to see the Discordant coming as it's being clouded by noxious gases. And finally, we have the Slaaneshi Lord Discordants, who like to feel and enact excruciating pain on both themselves and their enemies. So like I said, we're just using a generic one. I could have easily gone with Vax Machinator, which is the Black Legion's Lord Discordant. However, since he is such a new character, he was only briefly seen during the whole Vigilus campaign, but I guess I should give you a little bit of lore on that just to see what the Vax Machinator is capable of and what a Lord Discordant can actually do. So he is called the Vax Machinator because he brings vexation to all who approach him. He feeds on bitter discord of his friends and foes alike, and he leaves a corrupting scrap code aura that corrupts any and all machine spirits within his presence. As he rides into war, his orders go unheard and unheeded as his battle plans begin to unravel into discord. He is essentially chaos personified. For outside of battle, his chaotic aura is used to undo those who would conspire against Abaddon the Despoiler, his lord. And his most notable of feats is when he led a charge of blood crushers and demon engines against the Cadians. They were disciplined troops, however, they could not have been trained enough to face the onslaught that the Vax Machinator would bring upon them. So now that we have a good feeling of what a Lord Discordant can do, and what the Vax Machinator has done, let's take a look at his arsenal of weaponry. So like I stated previous, he does have the aura of discord that manages to make vehicles not work. Unfortunately, this really won't have an effect against Shadowsun, but still, on the tabletop, any vehicle units that are within 6 inches of him subtract 1 from their hit rolls, making it a little bit harder for attacks to land. And probably his strongest ability is that known of Spirit Thief. For each time it destroys an enemy vehicle, he then can either use that energy to repair a vehicle of his own, a nearby vehicle, or unleash that chained energy at the opponents, dealing mortal wounds. The armament he carries upon himself is pretty standard: frag and crack grenades, a bolt pistol, and then we come to the interesting things. Since he is kind of a warpsmith, he does have mecha tendrils to aid with piercing or grabbing things, and he does wield an impaler chainglaive, which is essentially a halberd, but with a chainsword at the end of it, which is very devastating against anything. Now the Hellstalker is a freaking beast on its own. Like I said earlier, he's got bladed limbs and a tail that can easily pierce through the toughest of metals, and the bite from the Hellstalker can inject the technovirus, which will pretty much hinder any vehicle useless once the virus has infected it. Atop the Hellstalker, you can either have a Bale Flamer or an autocannon equipped to deal with the enemies at range. With that being said, boys and girls, let's begin our grim, dark battle. The carcasses of a dozen Tau Pathfinders lay in pieces as the Lord Discordant clutches a single survivor within the grasp of his mecha tendrils.
Tell me where she is.
The Tau foot soldier clutches his belt, and in a flash of light, a photon grenade goes off. The sonic blast stuns the Lord long enough for the Tau to escape. The Pathfinder runs towards the nearest pulse carbine he can find. "I'll never tell you!" And just as he was about to pull the trigger, a chittering noise is heard behind him as an iron tail pierces through the Pathfinder's chest. The Hellstalker tosses the Tau asunder, and the Lord mounts his demon engine. Just then, a plasma blast explodes upon the Lord, blasting off 2 of his mecha tendrils in a spray of ichor and blood.
So you are here, Commander Shadowsun. Now, show yourself. Let us do battle upon the blood of your people.
Once again, 2 bolts of plasma hit the Lord, knocking him off of the Hellstalker. Shot after shot pummels the Chaos Lord, but this barrage gives away Shadowsun's location, and the demon engine pounces on her. Its bladed limbs tear the Tau apart as their suit's camouflage fields flicker on and off. She then rises the muzzle of her fusion blaster right up to the gaping maw of the demon, and with a blue flash, the Hellstalker is blown apart from the inside out.
Very well done, Shadowsun. Maybe if you'd have hit me with that attack, I would have been dead. But no, your foolish tactics end here. Now, you are my prey.
Blood and oil ooze out from the Lord Discordant's wounds, and utilizing his fallen Hellstalker's machine spirit, the Lord launches a massive blast of corrupted energy at Shadowsun. She tries to dodge, but the blast blows apart her suit's entire right side. The molten slag of her melting suit sears her wounds shut, but the damage has been done. She lays on the floor as the Lord Discordant approaches, chain glaive in hand.
I expected more from the Tau's Supreme Commander.
He raises his chain glaive, but Shadowsun activates her flechette launchers, and in a flurry of sparks, the Lord is blinded. In a fit of rage, the Lord Discordant then unleashes his remaining mechatendrils, piercing Shadowsun to the floor beneath her.
No more tricks.
He says, as he then begins to short-circuit her suit.
Now, your death is mine to claim.
And just as he brings down his chain glaive, it stops. It's scraping against metal, and right before him, Shadowsun's drones have blocked her attack.
Again with your tricks.
He then slices through the drone, but as he does so, and the drone falls apart, Shadowsun unleashes a barrage from her plasma pistol. Shadowsun doesn't stop firing until she is certain that the Lord is dead, and even then, she takes his own chain glaive and decapitates him. The winner of this GrimDark battle is Commander Shadowsun. There you have it, guys. The winner is Shadowsun from the Tau Empire, which comes at a little bit of a surprise for me, because usually the Tau aren't known to be the favorites. Usually the Tau are at the end of a whole bunch of jokes, but you guys voted 58% for Commander Shadowsun, while the Lord Discordant only got 42%. Which, again, I am pretty shocked, because usually Chaos is really powerful. The Lord Discordant is probably one of the better units for Chaos currently, especially with like demon engines and whatnot. And he's got the aid of his Hellstalker. But, of course, Shadowsun, she's all about stealth. She's the supreme commander of the Tau for a reason, and she does have drones at her disposal. I guess with all that in her kit, her tactics and whatnot, she knew that she needed to basically play the victim to kind of get the Lord Discordant to be overconfident, and that was his downfall. If you guys think this battle should have gone differently, let me know down in the comments below as to how you think this battle should have turned out. In my opinion, it could have easily gone the other way, but Shadowsun came out on top this time. So if you guys did like this, I do have a whole playlist on GrimDark battles. This is probably episode like 10, 11, so there are quite a bit of ones to watch. One of my favorite ones was none other than Gaskull versus Farsight. So if you wanted to see what another Tau character can do, and we got some pretty interesting ones, such as a squad of Nurglings against a squad of Gretchen. That was pretty fun. So check out the playlist, guys. Let me know what you thought about this GrimDark battles, and also let me know what other battles you guys want to see in this series. Can't wait to read your responses, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys then.